All right, Steve, let's move on to another five-star offensive tackle. This time, Andrew Babalola. He's out of Kansas, and he's been telling On3 that in the past he wants to commit by August 12th. Well, Steve, as we tape this, it's August 12th, so the clock is ticking. What's going on? What's the latest? And is the confidence around Michigan getting louder?
I'm not expecting a commitment. I think that Andrew Babalola is still struggling to make a final decision because he could see himself at so many places. Yes, I think Michigan is one of those schools, and the dialogue remains strong. And I think
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's done a really good job of recruiting Andrew and his family and showing them that it's the best of both worlds on the football field, where they're defending national championships, and in the classroom, where they have such a outstanding alumni base and what it means to be a Michigan man. But there are a lot of schools that are feeling good about where they stand with Andrew Babalola right now. Stanford is one of those programs that's been a mainstay at the top of his list. They got two offensive line coaches at Stanford. They have that prestigious degree. They have a lot going for them in this recruitment. Auburn's having regular dialogue. I'm not sure there's a coaching staff that is closer to Andrew Babalola than the guys down there on the plains at Auburn. He continues to talk regularly with Bill Bedenbaugh and the Oklahoma Sooners. He's talking to the Oklahoma players. So they're in the middle of it. And then Mizzou, you never count Mizzou out in this cycle on the trail. If they've gone toe-to-toe and won some heavyweight recruiting battles, Matt Zoller's certainly one of those in particular. But the Tigers trending for a really strong class as well, coming off an 11-win season themselves. So I think even though he wanted to commit in July, then he wanted to commit before his senior season, I think he's still working through his processes. These programs give him a lot to think about.
Who do you think this helps the longer this goes? Is there a program?
Well, I think they're in the middle of it. I don't know. Certainly the longer it goes, I don't know how well that bodes for Stanford, who
Right.
led coming into the official visits. I think that was kind of the consensus opinion. But Michigan, Auburn, Oklahoma, right there in the middle of it. I don't hear as much about Missouri as I do the others, but I do
Mm-hmm.
know he continues to have dialogue with them. But there seems to be some confidence around the plains. Michigan, folks around Ann Arbor felt good for a while. And then Oklahoma's just been lying in the weeds.
All right, there's another offensive tackle out there that's a five-star that has a date set. Unlike Babalola, Michael Fasusi knows when he's going to decide. It's going to be August 21. There's a lot of buzz around Oklahoma. Steve, what's the latest on five-star offensive tackle Michael Fasusi?
Yeah, as you continue to talk sources around the recruitment of Michael Fasusi, Oklahoma is a program that remains hot and steady. We talked about Bill Bedenbaugh in the Andrew Babalola portion of the show, but it applies to Michael Fasusi. He's arguably the best offensive line coach in the country, has a track record of player development, has as many guys on the offensive line in the NFL as any college coach in the country right now. And that means something to Michael Fasusi, who has great ambition as an offensive lineman. I think Oklahoma has poured a lot into this recruitment. It has put them in great position here for Michael Fasusi down the stretch. But you cannot sleep on Texas or Texas A&M. I think Texas A&M is real vested in this recruitment. The Adam Cushing offensive line coach has spent a lot of time talking to Michael Fasusi as of late about the way he could develop him, and he is very important to Texas A&M trying to get on track here in year one of the Mike Elko era. And then Texas, the way that they've recruited offensive line under Steve Sarkisian year in and year out, they've done a fantastic job of closing top targets each and every cycle. You can't rule them out for Michael Fasusi as well. In fact, they're the on 3 RPM favorite, but Oklahoma and Texas A&M doing a good job giving chase.